Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Operation Back in Time update.
Hello.
I'm joined with Imai, the main artist of the project. We're both the co-creators of this entire thing. So, initial game progress. In this presentation, what we'll be going over will be a recap of the last update, just to get everyone up to speed, the script progression, so where we are in terms of completing it, the code, so the initial code that we've got in, and we actually have a demo video for you. And then we have the art side. There's been a lot of art like visual novel sprites, UI, room progression, and the refinement of the digital styles. Then we have audio. We actually have some music to show you. The issues of the project just in general, overall. And then we have community stuff. So these updates and like a art showcase, which is really cool, and what you can do in the Discord. So, to recap the last update. We didn't know what the ask feature was, but now we do, so that's a good thing. So you can send questions in, and we've been answering them. We were making the script canon. We'll go into that later, but basically we had to rewrite the script because we were unsure of what time period we wanted to set it in, because we had to make it more canon because the original wasn't canon, and we didn't realize there was additional resources out there. We also were releasing the character cards. We talked about how we had to shuffle them around so that we could keep them coming out every week whilst trying to update the script. We got the script into a part where it was like, okay, the characters are pretty much solidified. Some of them were still in flux because of their background story, but now they're all finished and released. Yay! Congratulations, Imai.
Yay.
Okay. Yeah, you did have them finished a while ago. We did have them as a backlog, but it's fine. Because now, we actually have code that we've produced. Because we had no coder before. Imai and Wake managed to recruit a coder. Then we have the Art Bible creation, which is these spinny little fellows on the side. The Art Bible is still just being developed. Then Stretched Thin on management. Yep, I had to address that as soon as we got this coder. We went through all the management, and now we've set up a pretty good state of it, right? So like we've got the room list, the music list. The coders know what they're doing, and yeah, Imai's got art stuff she can do. And then community suggestions and responses. We asked you for suggestions on what we can improve and how we can be better. There wasn't any, and I doubt we're perfect. So if you do have any suggestions on if we're doing something wrong, or you think we could do something cool, like any kind of community engagement, you can always just send in a question or message us on Discord. Now, on to the script. So, we have solidified the time period the script takes place in. It takes place August 2005. We're not telling you which day because it's very unlikely to change, but it could change. But also, we gotta have some secrets. The script is currently paused because I am doing the coding and the base functions. The prologue has been completed for Engine, which I'll go over in a second in the next slide. Expressions and gamifying. So basically, we still need to go through the script and pick what characters, like the expression when they say their line, and we have to gamify the rest of the script. So after the prologue, we have to basically expand upon how we want it to feel as a game rather than just a script, how the mechanics we'll be looking into and the mini games and stuff like that. So the first boss fight actually took a while because it was kind of just like, oh, you have a 3-phase fight. That's it, right? That was all it was. So that took ages to expand upon. And then Imai actually did some background stories in her free time of some of the characters if they were in the EBF universe. You want to talk a bit about that?
So I've only 2 of them have really been completely finished, which are Tusk and Sam. The first character I technically did was Frankie. But he might get changed a lot because what tends to happen when it's like the first character written is that I dump all the responsibilities on that one person. But obviously the more characters I'm going to write, the more of those responsibilities will be placed on other people that would make more sense. So I'm going to have to rewrite Frankie a lot.
Yeah, like when you first came to me with Frankie, I was like, you're making him like a main character. Well, what's happening?
Sorry, that tends to be what happens, because like I don't have a reference, right, for other characters yet.
It's fine.
Puffle Handler I'm working on, but I'm stuck on what to do next. Like, I kind of know what I want, but right now there's like this little bit that I just can't get past, and it kind of made me not write for like a bit. So I was to get back into it and get over that, then I should be fine.
Yeah, that was basically on me. I haven't had a chance to actually look over Puffle Handler's story yet. It's just been really busy. But
Yeah.
I'll do that, and then you can start, because as you can see, it says bracket secrets, right? So that means that these stories, we can't release them, because Imai has chocked them full of EBF secrets that we don't want to reveal to you guys yet. So
I mean, it's better for writing about them, because
yeah. Like, it is better, because now we get a full picture, right? But
yeah.
I kind of want this content to be like visible for the community as well. So once I go with the Puffle Handler, and then you can like carry on with it, then maybe you can start adapting these into like short stories, right? That don't have the secrets in them. That goes, and then when the blank happened, dun dun dun, you know. And that could be kind of cool to post one of those weekly, like the character cards. So, on to the script progression line. So this is how long the story is. We have 5 acts, or 7 if you count the prologue and ending, and each of those have 1 to 3 chapters. So currently, the demo will stop around Act 1, Chapter 2, I believe, right? Which feels a bit weird that Chapter 3 isn't involved, but it's kind of like just how the story feels. So currently, prologue is completely engine ready. We just need to get the assets and compile it all together in engine to see if it feels nice. We might still change dialogue, we might still change expressions, but that's like 90% there. Then we have up 1 and 2 chapters in Act 1, which is just expression check. So the dialogue's done, it's gamified. I just need to go through and see if characters are expressing themselves and their lines correctly. And then way after that, all of these chapters need to be reformatted for gameplay. So their story is basically done. It's canon, and it's like completed, but we haven't expanded upon like how the player actually gets to these sequences and moves around the world. And then we have rewriting the rest of the script for the new canon and ideas that we have. Basically, Act 4, Chapter 1 is where all kind of splits off into chaos. So that's why we haven't touched any of that yet. But now, real coding! We've actually got started in the coding! Yay! So, like we said, we recruited a programmer called Lox. He came in, and in me trying to help him understand the coding and stuff like that actually inspired me to be like, oh, wait, I can actually code. So I started to actually take up the reins and do some of it myself, which was pretty fun. So yeah, Lox might be transferred to actually just like implementing stuff, because I probably won't have time for that. Then we have the demo aims. So the demo, we're aiming for it to be all of the base functions, like the PSA, as well as like, we're aiming for it to be a finished base template up to 1 boss fight, which is a bit cheeky. We probably shouldn't aim for the boss fight, but we thought, why not? It's a good point to stop the demo.
Also, could probably like give us an idea of how you want to do the future ones if you ever want to redo them.
Like, especially because this first boss fight is the boss fight that's easiest to, like, it's most solidified, right? Because the later ones, it's kind of like, I don't know if that fits. Like, I think the second boss fight, it hasn't been solidified yet. We haven't even got like a concrete idea. We have a general idea, right? But we're both still at arms of what it wants to be. But yeah, so once we get that like functionality in, like the base mechanics and stuff, then it's just the rest of the game after that, after the demo, is implementing the story and the expressions and the art, and then adding those unique events and boss fights later on, which will be the only additional coding from there. So the actual like functions that are in the game are bullet pointed here, but we actually have a video that goes over it. So, Imai, let's mute up and we'll play the video. Hello, welcome to the coding update. Basically, I'm going to show you the features that we already have coded in. So first off, you're probably seeing this background and you're like, hey, this looks exactly like the background for the PSA. And it is. We will be changing this. We have recruited a room artist. Their goal is to try and take these rooms and convert them into Imai's art style. There will also be original rooms later on. Another thing you might be wondering is this jetpack guy looks quite different. And that's because this is one of Imai's visual novel sprites. You'll get to see them more in the presentation. So just don't worry about him right now, and the fact that he's mortally terrified. He's just a placeholder. So, to begin with, you saw a little bit just then, but we have the arrow movement. The player movement that is in the PSA missions. Currently, in the application form of our game, it runs like a snail, which was different than how it ran in the editor. So we're going to have to change that. We're going to have to rework the system, sadly. But clicking it feels pretty much fine. We also have the looping rooms, which is why I've left it go on for a little bit. And we can actually directly compare this to Waddle Forever client, as they have a pretty good recreation of the old PSA missions. I'm not sure if it's 100% accurate, but it's pretty close. So let's compare the arrow movement. So this is the hover speed, which is clearly faster than ours. The background also feels a little jittery, whereas ours is pretty smooth. And then we have the click function. And I picked the same room, so it's easier to compare, and you can see how the looping feels. Now let's hop back, and let's talk about the exits. So we have an exit over here, as you can tell from the cursor changing. And once we click that, we don't get a loading screen like in the old one. That will probably change. And here we have another cool looking sprite by Imai. The Pondering Gary, wondering about life on the edge of the ski hill. So we can click Gary, try and pester him, but we have the floating text, or the orange text, or whatever you want to call this, the inspect text, that basically tells you a bit of information about the thing you're clicking. And so it's telling me that I should just do something else with my time. So let's hop back. Let's try going to the town. Oh, but it's locked. Apparently I should grab Gary and Guy before we can go to the town. Maybe we all want to go to the coffee shop together, who knows. So I say, hey Guy, you want to get picked up? Looks like he wants to, so let's pick him up. Let's chuck him in the inventory, because that is why he is a placeholder. He is a placeholder item, because we do not have the dialogue system in yet. So let's come over. Let's see if Gary wants to get picked up now. Yep, he does. Great. Let's all go to the coffee shop. Oh, but I can't use them just yet. So this is actually displaying the feature of, you know, the key for the gift shop, like upstairs, where you need a specific item to actually get through. So I can combine these two to make the ski hill, because why not? And then now I can get through to the town, which is one of those rooms that has a dead end. There's actually a thing that happens within the old client, within the actual PSA missions, where if you go to the town and you try to slam yourself against the wall, you can actually start to break out of it. There you go. So as you can see, we've broken out of bounds. You can see the trees clipping slightly. The sky is bleeding over, whereas the ground isn't. That was actually happening in our game too, but I changed over the movement mechanics, so that doesn't work anymore. However, now the speed is broken, so I need to do it again anyway. So let's pick up some snowballs from anywhere on the ground. We can just start plonking them in the inventory. Don't mind the background placeholders is an empty slot, quote unquote. But we got to stage 2, stage 3. So yeah. Now the inventory, as you can see, is a bit weird. I couldn't get the animation to be that nice because it's different than the phone, which I'll show you now. And we have the phone. So we decided to put our phone over here where the code is, because we're not going to have any code within our game. So we decided to put our phone down here, and you can just hover it to flip it up, close it, and then we have different apps. So we used the Waddle Forever client as well to recreate this sort of functionality. So we have the tools, just like the PSA phone. We can click on it. So the PSA phone just chucks out these 3 tools for you to grab. R1 you have apps that you can click to get a laser pen, comb, scissors, wrench, screwdriver. This is just an extra one. So if we click the laser pen, an amazing animation of a laser pen coming out. Just imagine it. And then you grab it like you would the other ones. And they'll be in your hand. You'll be able to, interact with it. But we don't have that currently. So other things about the phone is we have mission objective. So this will later be a representation of what your current objective is, like your goal for that level or chapter. We have the teleport feature, which also isn't coded yet, where you'll actually be able to teleport between zones in free roam, as we're not going to have a map because half of the rooms don't exist in the past. Then we have audio transcript. Basically, after you've talked to a penguin, it'll keep the last conversation you had within this app. Then we have load game, basically. We're not going to have the save game on this button. And then settings. Locks, our recruited programmer actually did make the settings in the main menu. So they do exist. They're just not tied to this button, and I can't show you it in this demo. So that's basically it. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. We'll later be adding like dialogue and stuff. And I can actually show you the editor, just have a glimpse of what it looks like behind the hood. So we have Jetpack Guy back here and everything's 2D. There's boxes scattered around for the teleportation and the walls. And then you can just have a glimpse at the coding madness that is Unreal. Like this is just the rooms right now. The interactables and the exits. So that's everything without going, deep dive into all the coding because there's no need for that. I'll hand it back off to my future self. Okay, welcome back, Imai. Hello, welcome to... He's playing again. He wants to talk again. How could he? Okay. So, it's all to you.
So, I've been working a lot on the art side of the game because it's a visual novel, right? So, like, half of it is the programming. The other half is basically the art. So, I'm working on that half. So I've been doing a bunch of promotional stuff as well as in-game stuff. I've been doing like wallpapers and stuff, and you can kind of see sneak peeks of them in little like panels there. And then for the in-game stuff, we're trying to think of like main menus, but I don't really feel comfortable doing UI and stuff like that. UI I'm always like a bit worried about because I can never make it feel right to me.
And we just haven't had real time to dive into it in depth, really, have we?
No.
These two wallpapers kind of came from us trying to spitball some ideas for the main menu.
Yeah. We have also made proper palettes, like color palettes for the different eras. So what you see right now, this red is the EBF palette, and the green one is the PSA palette. The blue one is the EPF palette, and then that brown one at the very beginning is the OBIT in general, based on the logo that I made. Then other like stuff I've worked on is expressions for the characters and some UI stuff for the free roaming. And we also we recruited a room artist.
Yeah. Because we can't hire anyone because it's non-profit, non-commercial. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here's like the UI, the digital like refinement thing for the Tumblr.
Yeah. So I'm planning to hopefully have the Tumblr reworked to make it more like this, where it's more EPF-y in design with the palette of the EBF, because the Herbert that I drew is very red. So we're trying to match that, basically.
Mm-hmm. And we have like scrolling functionality, right?
Yeah, you have the scroll, when you like a post, and just normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is the UI for the free roam section. So, like in the PSA missions, you have like the frame with the arrows and the help and close. Then you have the inventory, which will slide up and down. And because we're not doing any PSA decoding, we have replaced the code panel with the EPF phone.
And look at this phone. Holy.
Yeah, we even have some new icons that you probably never seen before that I created.
Yeah, I really like the how like sleek the main HUD is. Like, because we took inspiration from the DS games and stuff, because we realized that we got told that Herbert's Revenge was basically the PSA people coming in and remaking the PSA for something they would, like, they visually wanted it to look more like, right? And they expanded upon it. So
the color palette is meant to be like similar to the phones. It's meant to match like the phone basically, and also it matches the panel like screen like frame of various EPF things. Yeah, like the tablet thing that they have when you enter the EPF for the first time.
Mm-hmm. So this might not be final, this UI, but currently it looks pretty good, and hopefully like it'll work in game. That's what I mean by not being final. Like it. You know, the inventory might be too squished or something. But yeah, moving on. We have these.
Okay, so these are the character expressions that I've been working on. We're planning to make it visually similar to the Doki Doki Literature Club screenshot that we have in the corner, where all the characters are like standing there full-bodied. And I thought, hey, why not to make ours like different from most visual novels that I've seen anyway, is to make the characters match the lighting of the room that they belong in. So, for example, if it's nighttime or they're in a cave or somewhere dark, they would have like dark lighting. If it's somewhere colder, they would have more colder lighting. If it's warmer, they'd have more warmer lighting. And then, like, there's even different, like, lighting types for indoors and outdoors, like artificial versus natural light, which I think is, like, pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
It means there's going to be a lot of extra poses or the extra, like, lighting and symbols I'm going to have to deal with, but I like the look of it, so I'm not complaining.
A lot of extra pain, but it does help the immersion. Or, like, hopefully it does. You know, we need to compare it to the room art and get it in engine.
Yeah. I've also gone the extra mile for asymmetry within characters. So, for example, Dot is very asymmetrical. So, not only do I have a right, like her facing right, I have her facing left. And then I flip it in like posts, basically. And even characters that are symmetrical, but they hold objects that are asymmetrical, I have them doubled up as well for left and right viewing.
Because you just like suffering. I told you don't have to do them. We could do them later.
It's really like it matches consistency, and I don't know.
It's fine. I like, if you're okay doing it, I'm happy you doing it. These look very cool, and you know, we have Terra Guy back again, and Depressed Rookie. Some of these are actually in the Discord server stickers, which is funny. But yeah. Then we have the room art. So we did recruit Hugo to help with the room art. So basically, the PSA rooms are very odd. They don't have consistent height. They don't have consistent width. Obviously not. Some rooms are like larger than others. But because of that, we can't just make our own original rooms like easy peasy. So we had to painstakingly task Hugo to make this that's down here, a fisheye like template for the rooms that he's going to be making, or whoever may join the team later on. And above here is the current room that we've commissioned Hugo to do, which is the EPF HQ from the DS, but remastered to look like the online Club Penguin room version. So the table is long. It's not a short table. And next for this stage is Hugo just needs to color it, send it over to Imai, and then we'll try and figure out how to get the shading across back to Hugo so that he can shade them in the style of Imai. And then we go on to music. Sadly, even though Kuro, our musician, has made like 3 or 4 tracks, only one of them is not a secret area, which is the gift shop, which is why we have this CCTV footage. And currently we don't have any sound effects. We may use ones that was already in the PSA. I'll talk about that later. But currently we have like no sound effects or no place to look for them. Now, let's enjoy some music. Okay. Oh, there we go. Don't know why it paused. Right, I'll mute up. Okay, so basically, we'll upload this song onto YouTube without all this clutter so you can listen to it more. For the music, we wanted to aim for like cutting it back to make it more casual instead of the bouncy, chaotic stuff that is Club Penguin. We also, the script is quite serious at times, so having goofy music like is in Club Penguin would just not match the vibe. So that is a challenge that we're going to have to face with Kuro. But currently we have them working on covers instead, just making them casual for like the visual novel dialogue style. And now leading on to the overall issues. To begin with, obviously this is not our IP, it's Disney's property, so we are in copyright violation. We obviously knew about it, right? But we didn't think about it that much because Club Penguin private servers exist and they don't get taken down generally for copyright. They get taken down for, you know, other horrible reasons that I don't want to get into on this. So currently the plan is that we try and make the demo. We release the demo and see what happens if Disney even notices us, right? Because even though we are trying to recreate a lot of the art and we're making a new story completely, we found like posts and blogs and like information about copyright that kind of spooked us. So concepts in general. So characters like Gary, the Puffle, and locations like the nightclub, all of those things are Disney's copyright, which we didn't realize at the time. So just using those concepts, even though we redesign them and remake them into like EBF Herbert, right? That's still technically copyright, which is a bit upsetting, but it's understandable. Leading from that, some of the things in the game that we weren't going to like replace were like fonts and maybe some of the sound effects. Also the music we are doing covers of, same with like the room art. So it's also like that kind of, you know, skeptical, is this like really, really bad kind of thing, you know? But the fonts and the sound effects, if we couldn't find like accurate replacements, because this current font that we're using for the slides is a Google font. I sifted through every Google font to try and find ones that were closest to the EPF style. And these were the best I could do. And clearly it's like massively different. It doesn't really suit it. And that's not even getting into those like actual Club Penguin fonts, you know, like Burbank and stuff like that. So we were going to use fonts, but that's like a major, that's just like actual stolen assets, you know? So that's like the scary thing. But we hope Disney doesn't take us down, because we're not trying to take anything from Disney. We're just trying to show that we have a passion for game development and Club Penguin and like story writing. And we just want to give you guys just a really cool time travel story in Club Penguin, you know? We just want to expand upon the PSA missions. And that's why we're trying to avoid monetization completely. That's why even though a Patreon or like a donation system to our development could be not copyright, it could be not in violation, right? But I'm not risking it. I don't want any excuse for this to just get taken down, because primarily we just want to make it for everyone. And then leading on to issues within the actual team. We have design disputes because there's not just a leader and there's like, it's me and Imai, right? When it gets down to things that both of us are just on the opposite end of and there's no negotiation, it's tough. We don't want to argue with each other, we don't want to hurt each other, but it does happen. And then when we take a step back, it's like, come on, it's an arrow, it's like something minor. It's something that doesn't matter. So in those regards, we're going to have to take step backs, just maybe flip a coin or something. But then for the bigger disputes, like there are some major ones, we're actually going to poll the community because we want everyone's opinion. This is a game for you guys. It's like, yes, it's a game for us as well, but it's mainly for you guys. So we want to see, like, on those design decisions, what does the community want? And then the final issue is non-delegible tasks, right? So what this basically means is there are tasks that, even though my time may be strict and stuff, I can't just push them onto somebody else, because in the grand scheme of things, it'll probably just come back to me and I'll probably have to do like the same or more work kind of thing. So here's like a diagram on the right of the current tasks that are delegated to me that I can't really just pass up. So Imai does the character art, but for the character art, she needs the expressions, which means I need to go and continue the script. I can't continue the script whilst I'm also doing the coding. So then that Lox can then start implementation, Imai also does the UI art. Now, this actually was meant to be my role, but I've had to push it onto Imai, and she doesn't really like UI that much. But I've had to push it onto... Yeah, sorry, Imai. I've had to push it onto you, but I still want a hand in concepting the UI, because, like, as you've said previously, you don't like the UX, right? The user experience part of it.
No. Not really.
So that's why I want to still concept it. But then it's like, okay, I still need to take my time to do that. I can't like push that onto somebody else. If we had a UI UX designer just randomly crop in, sure. I still want to do team feedback though. I'd still want them to come up to me and go, hey, I've done this for the UI. What do you think? So team feedback as well. I really want to do that. I really want to look at what the other people are doing and then try and fit it into the vision of the game. And then the update and asks is currently what I have been doing. It's amazing to just directly talk to the community and tell you guys, hey, we're doing cool stuff. Hey, here's a character card. What do you think? But this has been a task that has been talked about being delegated to somebody else. So it kind of upsets me a little bit, but if it's what needs to be done, it's what needs to be done. And, at the core of it, you can still talk to us in Discord and all that stuff. You can see how we're doing. But I said that I'd do one last update, which, by the way, I made it pretty big. Like, what the hell am I doing making a presentation update? Jesus Christ. Anyway. So yeah, that's delegated task, like, issue. But now, forget about us. We're focused on you, the community. So, the ask areas and engagement. Basically, on the last community update post, there was only like 7 people who engaged with it on Tumblr. So that's why we wanted to do this format, to maybe make it more engaging, more like cool looking, and just not just a massive text essay. Ask areas. Basically, what that means is I noticed that only Tumblr has the area where you can say, hey, I have a question. Let me tell it to you. We don't have a Discord channel for that, which we're definitely going to make. But also like on Blue Sky and stuff, we might see if there's a way we can set that up. Last week, the week before now, sorry for the delay, we actually posted the character card form. So basically what this was, it's on the right. If you've seen it before, you'll know. What it was is basically the first page is just some voting on what you believe is the best character card by title, description, and art. And then there's a section that says, hey, which one would you want us to expand if we could? So this is basically like, hey, pick a character card. We might look into it and see, hey, is there any way we can expand the story to give you guys more about the character without revealing things, obviously? Or is there like a wallpaper idea we can get out of it? Maybe we look into if Kuro wants to make that character's theme next, like their motif, and see how that works. However, that one's a bit of a stretch. But yeah, so if you haven't done that already, because there's only been like, I think 13 responses, please go fill in your responses on that. You don't have to do the optional secondary questions, but they are kind of goofy and funny. If you are one of those members who likes, how do I put this, Imai? If you're one of those members who likes them
a little bit too much.
If you like a character a little bit too much, you could express slightly how much you like that character in the goofy questions. And there's also questions about like, who do you think would be secretly the best chef or something? You know, who's the most wholesome, who's the least wholesome? So we do actually have a NPC form. Basically what this is some of the community members have actually managed to get penguins into the script, into the game. So what that means is visually the penguin is what they picked out from items that are around in that time period. We have a form. Imai made it, and she's been begging me to release it, but there hasn't been a good opportunity yet, in my mind. In this form, you'll basically go through and pick the visual style that you want a penguin that like represents you, right? There are limited options, sadly, so you know, you may have the exact same penguin style as someone else. And there's not really going to be names. You won't be able to change the NPC's like story or dialogue. That is like hard set, I'm sorry to tell you. We'll look at your outfit, we'll see, is this an outfit we can use? And then we'll put it onto an NPC we think fits best. So that will be coming out next week, and if not next week, probably after that. So keep your eye out for that. But I just want to focus on the character card form for now, and we'll get back to that later. Then the Discord. We've been having a blast in the Discord with the community. Even though the general chat is a little bit slow at times, we have like the art that comes in, which we'll be showing you soon. We have like work in progresses. Imai keeps posting them. She's leaking content. Go spy on it. And we also have community polls. So some of the character cards, like this Gary and Jetpack Guy, the best character card art, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, the Jetpack Guy, that was actually a poll. You could vote on how you wanted that to look. So get in the Discord. There'll probably be more. And you can always like file suggestions anyway in certain channels. And then we have the Tumblr revamping and accessibility. So like you saw before, we'll be trying to put that new UI on the Tumblr page. However, mobile users can't even get on that page, which we didn't know about. And in trying to look at it on my phone as well, I'm not logged in. I didn't realize Tumblr won't allow you to look at posts if you're not logged in. So that's a bit of an accessibility issue, especially because every other social media platform limits how much we can type. So that also sucks. So that's an issue we're going to have to look into and try and tackle, but we don't have money. We can't just host our own website. So that's a bit of a tough one currently. Now, the community character cards. We released the community character card in the last update, and so 3 people have actually took it upon themselves to make their own character cards. You know, some of them aren't for this operation, which is completely fine. They just look really cool anyway. So Operation Sweet Tooth by Little Miss Random. They made these 3 cards, which look incredible. And then we also have one from Jaded Paws and one from It's Luna. These also look great.
I really like how they, I guess, like took advantage of the character cards that we made and made it into their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they even like replicated the layout. You know, like there's a title and then the name of the character.
Yeah, like the lovable fool rookie, which is so close to what we almost called ours as well, which is kind of funny. And
then like they put the logo in the corners as well, which is what we did.
Yeah, in the character cards that are in the game. So you may wonder, why is there this little arrow tab, right? Basically, the character cards were always going to be within the game. You could click them, they flip around, and then show you the description. So that's why these arrows exist, and we'll also probably won't have our logo on those ones that are in the game, because the entire game is our game, you know?
Yeah.
So I've got an idea now, which could be cool. With these people's consent, obviously, and whoever makes character cards after, what if we have a community character card section as well? Or would that clash? Because then this is a different operation, so they might not want that. We'll have to think about that. Maybe we'll pull the community about that. Who knows?
Maybe we could get like people to make custom character cards for the competition specifically.
Oh, we could have a character card competition. That would be cool.
Like them actually drawing it for the competition instead of like just grabbing the ones that are even made.
Yeah. And then whoever the winner is gets like a cool character card banner or something, or they get something in addition. Okay, that's pretty cool. Making ideas on the spot. Thanks to you guys putting in your own character cards. Like the actual character card was, I think, Jaded Paws. I think they were already making their own one, right? So we decided to make a community one.
Yeah, I think they took the actual Club Penguin one, though, the player card from the actual game.
But still, so Jaded Paws, in doing that, made us have this idea to give you guys character card template. And then now, because of this that we're looking at now, it's given us the idea to, what if we have competitions and then put those in the actual game as like a different section? That'd be really cool. And it'll obviously have your usernames there, so you guys could like be forever credited, almost like how Patreon supporters are credited in some other games. It'd be kind of like that, you know, for just being a member of the community. Speaking of other community members, we have the art showcase. Let's go. We got Chadbert. We got, who's this? Little Gary?
Yeah, so I think I actually watched Sai draw this in Discord stream. That's EBF Gary with a wedding dress on. But it's just barely cut off.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Okay, well, we got Sam, we got EBF Gary. Moving on.
It's not Sam, it's Sam from a different AU entirely. Okay. Yeah. His name's Bronk.
Bronk. Okay, well, you got EBF Gary and Bronk and Cry
and Harry.
Okay, Crary then, Cry Harry. So these you can click on these links when we upload these slides. But yeah, these art pieces look really cool. Let's move away from Wedding Gary though, and then look at this. This is amazing.
This is pretty cool. I watched I draw this in Magma, which is like an online drawing program, and then they made it look prettier in like Clip Studio Paint because our programmer was begging them to make this into a wallpaper.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, sure.
This looks incredible. Like Klutzy he lost his stash in the water somehow or something, but yeah, this looks amazing.
It does.
Is there going to be an EBF DLC? Beach Herbert? Beach Bird?
People have been making jokes about an EBF dating sim.
Oh god, so we're going to have an EBF dating sim, as well as like, what is it? The EBF beach episode. Jesus Christ, no. Okay, moving on. We have some art from Bones. Just got a cool stylized Herbert.
Yeah. I really like how Bones draws Herbert. It's like pretty simplistic, but you can like easily tell it's Herbert.
They have a very like angular, cool style in a lot of their art. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And then we got Can You Lock In? That looks like it's on a post-it note.
So yeah, I think it is. It was like a trend. They were doing it with all of their Herberts, I think it was, and there wasn't one for EBF Herbert, so they decided to do it themselves. And then I was like, hold on, I'll do it.
Yeah. And look at all these Herberts. All of them cut off from the waist. Apart from that one, obviously. Cut off from the waist, cut off from the waist, cut off from the waist.
I couldn't be bothered to draw the rest of him, okay? Leave me alone.
And there's even more Herberts. Christ. Not a single EBF rookie or anything. It's just Herberts.
Everyone just really likes drawing Herbert.
So we got EBF Herbert, regular Herbert, and then this is like Harry again, right?
This is Harry from
Lights On.
AU. Yeah.
And then we got CPI Herbert, the worst one, in my opinion.
Wow, okay.
EBF Herbert, which I never thought I'd ever see him in this pose. And I strangely like it, but that's his meme pose. And then we got Harry again, and then regular Herbert.
It was like a meme template. I think they did over.
Oh, okay.
That's why they're all posed like that, because it's a template.
So I think we can safely agree that Sai really likes drawing Herbert for some reason, right? And
yeah.
We'll not talk about that one though. So now we have Bunny with this incredible Jetpack Guy like art, which I think is digital chalk because there's like pixel fragments up here, but this could be normal chalk. I'm not sure.
No, I'm pretty sure this is digital art. It looks pretty cool though. I think this is like the first fan art we got of the EVF characters in general.
One of the first and one of the best. It's like incredible.
Yeah.
And you
I
can
like
tell
the color.
you can tell it's one of the first because it's got his camo hoodie, which is like the original design.
Well, I mean, he still has it.
Yeah, he still has it, but it's like it's a secondary outfit now. It feels like.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe not to the community. Who knows?
I like the color theory stuff. It looks like he's actually in like at nighttime.
Yeah.
Or something.
Because like, if you like stop to think, this is like purple. Like, huh?
Yeah, the color theory looks really super cool on it.
Really good, really good. And then we got you doing your own traditional art of Guy, and then this is what I meant by the main outfit now. And the blood splatters.
Okay, so I recently bought acrylic and alcohol markers, and I was bored, so I decided to attempt to draw AVF Jetpack Guy with them, and I think I did well with that.
Yeah, you did pretty well. And then we have size like EBF Gary. Thank God, it's not another Herbert.
Yeah. I think
incredible.
this is also done on Magma, and they saw my EVF Gary and they're like, oh, that looks cool, and then decided to draw it as well.
Then we also have agents or axial creatures OC for the EBF. So this is EBF Cinder, I believe is their name.
Yeah, Cinder's her name.
And then we have Bones back again, but this time giving Herbert the most beautiful gothic little frame. Yeah. It's cool. I'm just questioning why it was ever made.
I think it was some kind of like thing that they were doing with other frames, so they decided to do it with EBF Herbert as well. It'd be great to put on an EBF Herbert shrine if you really want to make one of those.
Oh my god. I mean, it's also trippy because it's a frame within a frame now. So that's also good. And then we got Bones' actual like EBF OC. Like I think you said that this was an actual OC they had before that they've now converted to the EBF timeline. Yeah.
Basically, it's an OC that they had penguinified and then shoved into the EBF timeline.
Oh, okay. So Pippa Jade, the shapeshifter. In fact, they did the character card thing. Crap.
Yeah.
We should have put this in a character card.
Piper Jade, and they're like a shapeshifter, so they can turn into other people.
Yeah, like EBF Dot's character card up here. That's really cool. I didn't see this before. That's amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that one before.
And then we got some cool poses. Really great stuff. And then this next one is also Bones's. But like I said about the NPC form, these two penguins are actually like acclaimed? Is that the word? Claimed by community members? They are like community members. They designed them, and so technically they are them, right? So this one is actually Bones, and this one's is Jet. So in looking at that, we have Bones's drawing of this character. There's got a chibi version down here. And then them absolutely destroyed in bean counters, and then them just chilling. Since
the big one was a Magma drawing, it's a collaborative effort, so I drew the boombox in the corner.
Yeah. So yeah, like it just being in the Discord, you have actually like drawn with a lot of people, you know, and as we saw previously, you've drawn over someone's like doodle to make it semi-official like Obit art, which is kind of crazy. So it is fun interacting with the community. And the art showcase slides will be a separate post where you can actually like come through and click on these links because they actually work. And if there's anyone who wants their credit to be updated with like a different specific link or with a link that isn't there already, just like message us and then we'll go in and edit the slides. So that is everything. That is it. We finally got this update out, Imai. So thank you for watching. Discord activities and community contributions are always open. Ask us anything, anytime. The Discord link will be in the description of this post. Thank you all for being in the Obit community. You have anything else to sign off with, or are we just done?
I guess just, if you want to interact with us more directly, please join the Discord, because I am way more active on Discord than I am on basically any other social media.
Imai has not got a Tumblr, and I'm a Tumblr noob.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bye.
Yeah, bye.